behind scars and some, victories under the belt too. Washington area, I presume most of you are not from the DC area, correct? Yeah. Washington is an unusual real estate market in that we joke around locally that if the rest of the country, if we have a cold, the rest of the country has pneumonia. This is a place where, well, I'll back up for 1 second. We've got a wonderful scam going here. People from all over the country send us their money. Okay, we keep a very generous bid for ourselves, and then they send all these senators, congressmen, lobbyists to get some of it back. So as long as no one outside the DC market ever finds it out, we're in great shape here, and always will be. Don't tell anybody. My dad first came down here to work during the third Roosevelt administration. So my family, he came down here. I heard stories, it was very hard for him to find a place to live. He was down here into World War II. Housing was very tight. We have the same ups and downs as everyone else. Our downs tend not to be as sharp, and they tend to be dispersed from the outside. So the outer suburbs we feel a little more. The closer we get downtown, the less we feel it. The recessions I can recall in the early 80s when interest rates went into the 20s, the early 90s when everything collapsed, recently 2007, 2008. Yes, if you had a vacant building, if you had exurban buildings, if you had far out suburban buildings, it was painful. I live in Arlington. I do a lot of work, Arlington, Alexandria, downtown, out to Tyson's. In a bad market, particularly a small commercial building, you won't be able to sell it very quickly. You might have to wait a year, you might have to wait 2 years. It'll sell for a little less, it'll rent a little slower, but it doesn't go down to zero in this market. Conversely, in really good markets, while it goes up, we don't have this strong appreciation some of the more speculative markets have. So it's within a range of a relatively stable market. We've been looking close in, mostly on metro corridors, either in DC, Alexandria, or Arlington. I'm a believer in metro corridors. It can never hurt your values, and can only help it. So I think whether you lease or buy, you're in a reasonably stable market. If I don't see any normal circumstances where things will totally go to hell in a handbasket. It might get bad, they might get good. Doesn't matter. More importantly, I think the market is somewhat irrelevant from your perspective. It's like if you buy a house for $100,000, it feels good if it's worth $1 million, but you still have to live in it. To replace it, you'd have to spend a like amount. So I've never looked at the value of my house and cared if it went up a little, or frankly cared if it went down a little, as it happened to me also. So whatever you choose, I don't think anybody's going to get rich off of it, nor do I think it's going to, be bad. And we have a very healthy, diversified market. One interesting little thing, and I'm just going to use Alexandria as an example, which is just south of here. That's always been a heavy, what we call an association market. You have some other things that happen in trademark office, etc. With associations, they don't go out of business. In recessions, their membership might go down, they might get a little tight, but they don't disappear, etc. So you don't have, we're not dependent on one industry like the auto industry or semiconductors or other things that if you're in town that relies on one or two industries, it can really hurt. I always hate comparing residential to commercial, but I'll do that for 2 seconds, very briefly. I don't think there's that much difference in general, buying a little commercial building or a residential building. The one difference is 20 years, 25, or 30 years as a residential mortgage, but they balloon. They balloon in 5 or 10 years, usually. Balloons could be very bad historically. That led to a lot of real estate problems in the Great Depression. Reality is, on my own properties, I've pushed very hard for 10 years, and I tend to amortize loans down a little aggressively. So if I had a $1 million loan initially, by 10 years out, I might have a $500,000 loan, I might have a little more, I might have a little less. So even if interest rates go up a lot, I have, my payment shouldn't change all that much. In terms of renewal or not renewal of the loans, having just gone through a refinancing cycle, I pushed very hard and successfully to at least have renewal options. So I just did a loan with a 10 and a 5. So the interest rate will get reset at the end of 10 years, but it can't get called unless I'm in default in certain confidence. What would anybody like me to talk about in terms of your decision here, or local real estate market? Or
One thing I'd like to bring up before we go to questions is Mark was mentioning how the residential and the commercial market are similar. One thing that we're definitely seeing right now is that if it's priced right and it's a nice property, it's really flying off the market, whether it's residential or commercial. It happened to me when I bought my house. We looked at a couple before we got to purchase, and they were getting multiple offers on it. So at the end of the day, we just decided that in order to get what we wanted, we'd have to put a full price offer in because it's really where we wanted to live. So that's what we did, and we successfully did it. But we're seeing the same thing in Alexandria and DC with commercial properties that are priced right, and they're nice properties too. Very, very good.
can I get a question? I say one thing. With commercial, again, like residential, I've learned I can move very quickly because a lot of times I'll have what's called a study period. You know, you might have a week, you might have a month, and somewhere in between. So if your committee or whoever in charge of looking truly sees something, and by definition there's not many good buys out there. In my entire life, I bought one property that I thought was an exceptional buy out of many. So, but one can lock something up, you know, briefly on a short call with whatever your committee is, and at least have, you know, 7, 14, 30 days to bail out without penalty or expense if one wants to. So there's ways to hedge it a little. First and second.
I don't know if you may be going into this or we did this later about properties, but you know we had a survey of things that the committee was looking for. In general, how easy, how hard was it to find properties that generally met our criteria in this bigger market for this year?
Great question. By definition, there's not that many because you're looking on any kind of purchase on the lease side. There's very many options because whatever size is, most floor plates, the size of the floor, 10, 15, 20,000 feet. So even if you only need 2,000 feet or 3,000 feet, if we ran a full lease survey in Alexandria, Arlington, or DC, we would literally have hundreds of theoretical options that would work. Purchase, most of the time you're buying, there's two things to purchase. You're buying a small self-contained building, so by definition it has to be roughly the size you're looking for. If it's 3,000 feet, plus or minus, that might be 1% of the buildings out there. That might be 2% of the buildings out there. It might be 3%. So by definition, 98, 97, 98, or